but I don't see it.
Just the microphone.
Yes. Good morning, folks. I'm Jimmy Gray. I'm the gas operations supervisor here in Concord for Dominion Energy. We're going to go through this little quick thing here. It just basically lets us know where to go. If we have an emergency or something happens. Most of the stuff is pretty self-explanatory. This is the Concord Operations Center. Our physical address is 1801 Trinity Church Road here in Kannapolis. Our phone number here is 704-834-7944. The locations of the fire alarm extinguishers, we've got one most of you guys may have seen as you came in the door right there. We've got one in our kitchen area. We've also got some others strategically put out in the building here. If we have a fire evacuation or for some point need to evacuate the building, there are signs all throughout. You can go out this door here and go back out the front door. If you came in there, you can go out this door here. And if you look straight down this hall, you can see the exit door right there. And there's also an exit door if you come out this door and take a right that goes out and around the building. So lots of room to get out of the building. We will meet at the flagpole. Most of you guys saw that when you came in. So it's right out here to the left. If you go out this door, you'll see the flagpole. So I need somebody to call 911 if we have an emergency. Got you a good marker, didn't I? Just remember, there's several back here. They'll probably all not work either. We'll try. Yeah, I'll get it. I'll try to make it a lot brighter. Probably should get it.
There we go. What the hell over the last?
All right. Who'll meet the first responders? Zach. All right, for severe weather, if we have tornado or something like that come, typically we've got several different places. The ladies would meet in the ladies' bathroom, which is out this door here, down all the way to the end of the hall. It's the last door before you get to the end of the hall on the left. So the ladies will meet there. The guys have a couple different places you can go. You can go into what we call our break room, which is through this door here. And through the next door, there's a room in there where there's a refrigerator and a stove and stuff. And that's an area you can meet. You can also meet in the men's bathroom, which is one more door through and to your right there. So we can get you to that point. Who will lead that evacuation? That'll be me. We'll ensure that all are out. This means grab a roster.
Yeah.
Y'all can do that. Chase Gibbs. Chase. Okay. I don't know. Do y'all manage time when you're doing these things?
Not really.
Not really? Okay.
30 for 30.
You can do it 30 for
We got
30.
the-
Well, that's fine.
Marshall,
Marshall.
Piedmont's good at that. 30 for 30.
All right. And basically we've got a AED. It is actually, if you go out this door here, you can go all the way down to where the ladies' bathroom is. The AED for the ladies' bathroom is on the left. The AED is on the right there. There's a big sign up that says that's where it's at. So who wants to go get it if we have, what's your name?
Okay.
OJ? Spell that.
No dot. No dots.
For me, that's a challenge. Trust me. I'm glad y'all's names are easy because I'm difficult for that. Who's qualified to do and can perform CPR if somebody needs that? Marshall.
Marshall, you're going above and beyond here.
That's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah.
All right, our closest medical facility is at Atrium Health, which is right down, it's about 10 minutes here, straight down to 73 here and out on 29. The physical address is 920 Church Street in Concord. And the number to that, facility is 704-403-3000. So, all right. Thank y'all and welcome again.
All right, everybody, welcome to our July 2023 State UCC meeting. If you're joining us online, please be sure to sign into the meeting with your name, company you're representing, your phone number, and your email in the chat section. At this time, we're going to turn it over to Ralph Murphy. He's going to do a safety share for us.
All right, I had something that I wanted to do and last week we had an incident in my work, so I've changed it up a little bit. In your companies, do you have standard of how or to tell company with bee stings? We have a lot of people that are severely allergic and they have, they have to use their EpiPens. Does your company have a log of those? What is their standard and what are their SOP? We run into a situation last week where I had a guy that got stung. We have a new safety officer that anything that happens, you call him first before you call anybody else. Well, it wound up that 911 was called after this. And that didn't work out very well. The guy's okay, he wound up getting to his EpiPen in time, but the question that came up is, okay, now that you have this in mind, do you need to have a law? What is the standard in your company itself? And anything from spiders to fire ants. Do you have?
So, sorry, guys, we're losing our hotspot, so I may be in and out. Just bear with us.
And I thought it was me in the trailer I'm sitting in.
Nope, nope.
Yeah, I thought it might have been me.
All right, at this time, we'll go around the room and introduce ourselves, tell about where you work at. And then once we get done in the room, we'll ask online to do the same thing. So I'm Chase Gibson. I work for the City of Kingsville Energy Services.
I'm Lindsay Potts. I work for Sam.
Ralph Murphy with the Onslow Water and Sewer Authority.
Sandra Johnson with Dominion Energy out of Raleigh.
Ann Rushing, North Carolina 811. Tammy Groves, North Carolina 811.
Zach Harris, Piedmont Natural Gas. Don't have sewer, Lexington Utility. OJ Taylor, Lexington Utility.
Jimmy Gray, Dominion Energy.
Marshall County, Piedmont Natural Gas.
Doug Turner was Sam. John Hamel, these guys. Dan Barrett, Eric. Eric Lockner, Duke Energy.
Chris H. Williams, Continental Gas Pipeline.
Kyle Kisman, Utility Partners of America, private located Williams.
I'm Jason Stover with Dominion Energy, North Carolina.
Bill Strickles with Carolina's AGC.
People online, if you could introduce yourselves at this time.
Mark Worth, Dominion Energy.
Sean Kelly, Badger Daylighting.
Louis Panzer, North Carolina 811.
Bruce Sheldon, Colliers Engineering.
David Talbot, Colliers Engineering.
That's everybody online.
Yeah.
I was waiting on the last person, but it's Sandra.
Come on, Sandra.
Oh, yeah, you gotta introduce yourself.
Jeffrey Flores, Dominion Energy, North Carolina.
Appreciate it. All right, at this time, if you would, please look at the agenda. I'm seeking approval for this meeting's agenda. All right. Moving on to old business. Show of hands who all got to come to our conference. Yeah. Oh, you weren't there. That's right. I thought we had you a job today. We tried to get you
You
there.
tried, I appreciate it.
We had a great conference. It blew our minds and went above and beyond expectations. I feel like we had a great host and a great host team at Cherokee. We had some of the best communication that we've had thus far as planning the conference goes from our site help. Really couldn't have done it without the vendors. Really couldn't have done it without NC 811, SC, and all UCC. Really couldn't have done it with a great and wonderful conference committee. Myself, Jason Stover, Lindsey Ponce, Ralph Murphy, Sandra Johnson, and Rushing, Sean Kelly with Badger, Eric Prince, ran the locating for us, and Timmy Arbor, who was very major important help. So again, thank you to that team so much, man. You guys blew us away, and I feel like we had a great sessions. Feel like we offered some great things, hit on some heavy topics. And so looking forward to seeing what South Carolina's going to do in 2024. I'm sure they'll be announced as the time goes. I think they're going to host it in Charleston next year. They usually host sometime around in April or something like that. So you guys stay tuned, and they'll definitely announce that after it comes. But if anybody else has anything on the conference they'd like to add at this time.
Our first part, we saw him too up there. What was his name? He was exceptional.
While we're talking about it, I want to make a point that, since we switched years with South Carolina during COVID, the week that we've always done our conference is right up against AGA. Think now about changing fleets. Those are not going to do it.
With AGA, it did hurt us a little bit on our attendance and vendors that we wanted to bring. We had a spot for about 80 vendors, and we wound up maybe getting half of that. But next year, or the next time we host, we'll plan it differently around the AGA, so that way we can have more vendors. So make it even bigger and better.
Have we shared that with South Carolina to make sure?
So the way the AGA works is they only do.
Oh,
like
every other.
Every other.
That's the reason
That's
it's hard to button up against stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Gotcha.
Because we
Yeah.
get that here.
You're right.
However, AGA happens every year. So I would still make South Carolina aware.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Please.
All right, at this time, we'll move on to officers' reports. As far as my report goes, I just want to take the opportunity to thank you guys so much for allowing me to be a part of the state of North Carolina UCC. I'll be rolling off after this meeting, and unfortunately will not be able to be a part of the UCC anymore going forward. I'm taking on a new position at work, and it won't allow me the opportunity to be able to come to any meetings or anything like that. But again, thank you for letting me be a part. Made some great friends, made some great contacts, made some great family throughout this organization. So my hope and my dream for you guys is to keep coordinating with each other, because the memories that you make and the people that you meet in this room and outside of this room through the work that we do. It's not just a work contact, it's a lasting relationship, and it can definitely keep you going. So, again, appreciate the time, appreciate the encouragement, and hope you guys keep going forward. Go ahead, Ryan.
Now it's up to me. My report, I'm gonna piggyback what you just did. 5 years ago, I started attending one state UCC meeting a month or a year pretty much, because that's all I was allowed to go to. And what you just said, a lasting relationship, even on a personal level. I want to thank you for what you've done to the state UCC too. From what I heard, your local UCC. But thanks for being a friend. Absolutely. And you know, you've shown me a lot. You've done a lot. Folks, y'all don't know what happens behind the scenes. As he was talking about the committee meeting and all it is. Towards the end, we were having 2 or 3 a week meetings to get the conference plan. And you're very instrumental in that, and we do appreciate you. But I don't like what you said, that you can block me and Lindsay's phone. But thanks for everything. Appreciate you.
Side note, don't be friends with Ralph, because he'll send you pictures of him fishing at lunchtime. It's not okay.
Off the back of the truck.
Move on to Lindsay.
All right, I think we all share the same sentiment about you leaving. So I'll kind of change up a little bit, since I will be moving up, to co-chair. I'll just take this opportunity to welcome the new incoming secretary early. That will be discussed in the new business here coming up, but excited to have a new team member on board.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm going to go over some of the expenses we had during the conference. We chose to get new shirts for the team members, and we spent $355.67. We had a door prize of a grand door prize of $250 cash, and then we bought gift cards. And then in addition to that, something we've never done was we allocated $500 when we bought gift cards and gave them as door prizes. We brought enough money in that we felt comfortable being able to do that. The golf lunch was $1,095.59, which Lindsay picked up for us. The golf itself was $7,315. Our signs that we used that Mark Hanna had made up was $1,001.44. Our entertainment was $500. Steve Moore was gracious to do our entertainment. And we were requested to make a $5,000 deposit in April. We brought in enough money that I made a $15,000 deposit. So, and our final invoice was $32,514.75, which we have paid. We spent roughly right at $60,000 on this conference. We now have $20,146.35 in our checking account. We started with $7,193.45. So again, we've got $2,700 in PayPal. We've got to have moved to our checking account. So we're going to have to come up with some plan to spend some of this money on something worthwhile. Everyone might think about it and vote on it, but that is my report.
You need a raise.
Yeah, you said something worthwhile. I didn't see any other hands going up.
Yes, I would suggest.
We can put that up.
Yes, I would definitely like to make a suggestion that, we have recently received the interactive education trailer and we're finalizing the sponsors on that. It is a 16-foot interactive trailer that's got a faux floor. It's for education. So we're working on that as we speak, and we'll be pulling that around the state of North Carolina. So if the state UCC would like to sponsor, I will provide you some opportunities. I think I actually have that with me. So, super.
All right.
We did quite well, too well.
Well, and you know, there was, I think there's one, group out there that, hasn't paid us. So I'm not gonna pursue it because we're really over what we should have in our checking.
Right.
But I'd rather have more money than not enough money.
Yes.
It's been many years since we were in that position. But we've been very blessed.
Success.
Very good comment. Moving on to new business, the purpose of this new business and moving on to open discussion whenever we get there is to, replace the person rolling off the board, which will be me. As Ralph will move up to chairman, Lindsay will move up to co-chair, and we have a vacancy as the secretary position. Coming onto the board, you serve a 3-year term. You move from secretary to co-chair, and then you top out as chairman. The only one we don't replace is the treasurer. Sandra is very vital and she'll be on the board and just quit.
It's a long time.
She said she still got trips to make, so she's on it for the long haul. But, and a good limo driver. Yep, she's the best Uber we've ever had.
Your damages, past due fleet defense.
But again, at this time, I'll turn it over to Ann. Ann, if you would, please. We'll introduce the candidates real quick. Sean Kelly, which I think Sean is home with us. And so Sean, he'll have an opportunity to speak after Ann reads his bio. Then we have Richard Walsh from Dominion Energy and Nick Sprouse with Dominion Energy. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Ann. And the only reason I'm turning it over to Ann is I can't see right now.
For those of you folks that are online, the nominees are posted out on the NCUCC website. And so today I will present, I think we do have Sean on the call. Richard Walsh and Nick Sprouse, I do not think they're on the call, but I'll go ahead and introduce Sean Keller. He is with Badger, and he says why NC 811, but I think it's why 811. I joined Badger Daylighting 7 years ago and was not aware of NC 811 and who or what they are or were. I attended my first meeting in Charlotte of June 2016 after being employed by Badger for a few years, and needless to say, it was a very interesting meeting with a lot of finger pointing. Ooh. I saw at that time the need for companies to work with utility providers for all of us to reach our common goal, which is 0 strikes. I oversee 4 locations, or excuse me, sorry. Over the past 7 years, I've seen the need to educate not only us as excavators, but others as well to keep all informed of the severity of what a strike can cause. I oversee 4 locations in North Carolina as the general manager of 4 states and have made it a priority to not only the North Carolina managers and sales staff to attend the meetings, but the other 3 states as well that he covers. They have also seen the need for Badger to not only attend, but to also participate in NC 811 as a sponsor in any way we can keep everyone safe and to get the message out of the why. I am asking you for voting for me because I feel I am very passionate about NC 811 and educating others of its importance. Would you like to go ahead and just turn the floor over to Sean since he is online?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, Sean.
Well, thanks, Ann, for reading that. Guys, I apologize if you hear gunshots in the back. I'm in Charleston, and the police academy and military firing range is right behind us, so. That's what that noise is, if you do hear that. But guys, I just, the first meeting I attended, it was really interesting to see, and I just think, we've come such a long way from where it was that day, that first time I ever went to a meeting. I believe in 811, I believe in the UCC and what it can do to help educate others and get the word out there. And that's kind of all I really have to say about that.
So Sean, can you tell us a little bit about Badger and what you all do?
All right, so Badger Daylighting, it's a hydro excavation company.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, next we have Richard Walsh. Richard is with Dominion Energy, and he is a damage prevention specialist. I know Richard is over in the western part of the state, and he was also given an MVP award as well back at the end of, I think it was last year or year before last.
Actually, last year.
Last year? Can't keep up with it. Yeah, that's right, December. Was it December?
Yeah.
December, yes. All right, Richard has served in Dominion Energy's newly formed damage prevention department as a specialist since March of 2021. He was previously a locator, a first responder for 12 years. He is the co-chair for Buncombe, Madison, and Haywood counties for the local UCC. He's very active in excavator education with his teaching of Pipes Plus over in the Western North Carolina UCC to the operators and contractors. So he worked very actively with our liaison out west. He has also served for 19 years as a fire liaison officer, teaching fire departments how to safely respond to a natural gas emergency, and was instrumental in getting Asheville's new natural gas live fire pit, which was built at the Buncombe County Firefighter Training Center. And that's located at Asheville Buncombe Technical College campus. Before joining Dominion, he was a contract locator for Bell South, if anybody remembers that, which is now AT&T, and was a lineman for Crown Cable. All right. Unfortunately, I guess Richard was not able to be with us today. And then thirdly, we have Nick Sprouse. He is also with Dominion Energy, and he is a damage prevention specialist as well. I know Nick was at our conference and was one of our guest speakers as well. He's married. He has 2 sons. He currently lives in Lexington, South Carolina. So he also works within the South Carolina area as well. He has a degree from Spartanburg Methodist College, a degree from Coastal Carolina University, a degree from Walden University. Oh, wow. He's very decorated. I'm going to leave it at that. He did come from SLED, which is the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. And currently he is working with Dominion Natural Gas as one of the damage prevention specialists. And as you see, he is in the South Carolina area, Aiken, Abbeville, and then he covers what we consider part of our western area of the state, Gastonia, Concord, and Iredell. Those are 2 UCCs within our footprint. So with that, he would like to also be recommended for this position. So we do have Sean Kelly with Badger, whom you met, Richard Walsh with Dominion, and Nick Sprouse with Dominion.
All right, moving on to the open discussion forum. We're going to have some voting instructions in the voting format. And what we do this year, we have a QR code that you can scan and vote off of. And if you want to touch base on that, it'd be great.
Yes. So let me see if I can share my presentation and run down to it. I did it. Right through here. Oopsie. Sorry, guys. All right. So we do have a QR code that we have created. And in order to vote, are you wanting to vote now for this or wait?
I mean, I don't see a reason why we can't bring it out.
Okay, so for you folks that are online, I will send you all the link. This QR code will take you to an online form. So I would ask if you would, please pull out your phones.
It's the one that you do it once, right?
Yes. And you click on that link and you should have the opportunity. Everybody good on that?
Sean said he was able to scan it off the screen.
Okay, good. So for you folks that are online, if you are able to scan that off of your screen, please do and vote accordingly. And I think as in the past, only those that are here can vote or online. We will collect the votes that does go into an Excel spreadsheet. So we will have full documentation of that and happy to share that with the board. Everybody able to pull it up? Everybody voted.
Yes.
Perfect. We need everyone to vote. Every vote counts. Right.
Use all our phones.
No. There's always one in the crowd, right? Do I need to check your license? Your identification? Voting purposes. All right, you folks that are online, did you guys have any issues whatsoever?
Worked perfectly.
Perfect. Nice.
All right. Moving on to the reports. Do we have any reports from NCDOT at this time? Hear none. NC 811.
Maybe. Well, let's go back to that presentation. Oops.
Yeah.
All right, so, wow, I'll go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'll just, we're gonna give Tammy a break today. It's easier for me just to roll from the screen, and she's got a lot of other UCCs coming up this week. Thanks for being here today. We've already made it through the 4th of July holidays, and I hope you all are having a great time. Not sure why it says July 16th down in this little area, but we will make sure that subliminally that was there. I just noticed that. So we do apologize for that. So thanks for being here today. Some of the events that are coming up, as you see, we're here today at the State UCC. Next Tuesday, we will be hosting the Underground Damage Prevention Review Board. And we do have today one of our newest members with us, Eric Lochner. Eric, thanks for being here. And we're excited to have him on the Underground Review Board. I do have the privilege to serve on that committee as well. So we look forward to, it looks like a very large slate of complaints. So if you haven't had the opportunity, we encourage you to come out to that meeting and just be a part of that. July 26th, we will host the NCLRPC meeting at the event center. We did move that up an extra week. My daughter is getting married Saturday, so Dan graciously agreed to push that up to the 26th. So thank you very much. Dan Bear is here with us today. He does serve as the chair on that committee. And then our next major meeting will be our NC 811 board meeting, and that will be hosted in Asheville. So for those of you that are in or online, if you would stand up, stretch for 30 seconds. And I will continue to move forward with my presentation. So this video here is for Paradigm Training. We continue to partner with our pipeline operators, Williams Pipeline, and also Dixon pipeline. There's several pipeline operators that support this. And so we want to encourage you, if you have not gone to one of the Paradigm trainings in a while, please attend one. There is a link on the bottom of the slide that you can go directly to their schedule and attend one of those. NC 811 will be in attendance. Well, it is hot weather, if you have not noticed. Just want to remind you all to be very aware of the heat. The heat index has been really high. In fact, I think I had heard last month was like one of the hottest months, I think, since the recording of time. So just a reminder, heat illness is very real. Provide plenty of cool drinking water. As you see here in this bottom left, we will be providing water bottles out around August. As soon as our stickers come in for that 811 water, we will be out in the field providing that to some of our contractors that we see along the way. So if it happens to be you, we'll stop and provide you a bottle of water. Obviously, it is in celebration 811 day, but we will begin that early. So as soon as those stickers come in. Encourage your workers to drink small amounts of water often. And then, definitely establish, a resting time to get them out of the sun. And I understand, with the heat and getting that acclimation, OSHA is putting in some new standards. So I know we'll be talking about that a little bit more as that comes forward. Set up a buddy system, make sure you're aware, observe them, and then maintain effective communication with your crew at all times. This is a very serious thing. So we want to make sure that you're paying attention. And then of course, encourage workers to wear sunscreen and then use other protection from direct sunlight. If you can pop up a tent for some of these folks to work under, that'd be great. But if not, please take often breaks. So with that, we did want to share just a couple-minute video just to talk a little bit about heat and what could happen. So with this situation of the video, it was about an 8-minute video. So he really went into a lot of detail, but we shortened it up. If you guys would like a copy of that to share with any of your folks for a safety meeting, more than happy to provide that to you. All right, so we'll jump into our locate request of what's been going on for the month of June. As you see here, for the month of June 2023 compared to 2022, we did have an actual decrease of 1.2%. So we finished up the month with 222,088 tickets, and that was a reduction from 224,797. I would like to say that due to our LRPC, hopefully that's making a difference. Hopefully our education to our contractors about reducing the amount of update tickets or unnecessary tickets in the system may have helped that reduction in the percentage. So keep up the good work. Just want to remind you that for the updates in 2023 for the month of May, it was a 31.5% of, and then in April it was 30.5%. So that was a 1% increase. So so we're seeing it, you know, kind of up and down. You know, we would like to see it get back down below the, you know, mid to high 20s that with the last couple of years. But once again, updates are a considerable amount of our volume. When we look at our year-to-date, we are up 6.7% overall. For the year, we are at 1,321,000 tickets compared to 1,238,000 last year. So just want to show you those numbers. I know we've talked to all the local UCCs. There's just an abundance of projects, and there is more coming. So this year, certainly through the rest of the year, it's going to be extremely busy. Well, look at the transmission volume for that month of June. It was down 5%. We had 1,182,000 transmissions compared to 1,201,000 transmissions. So we are slightly down for the transmission. But we are up overall year to date, 5.9% on the transmissions. So we are already at 7 million. That's a large number, folks. 7,110,926 transmissions compared to 6,715,000. So we would encourage you to continue to follow up on your projects. If you're not actively working, please, we would encourage you to not update your work. We did remind everyone last month that we do have the ability to let that work expire. Once that ticket expires, then if your work is going to kind of cease for a bit of time, you have about 90 days to go back in and update that ticket. As long as the work does not change, you can certainly go retrieve that ticket again, update it, and proceed on. And that would certainly, you know, reduce that volume of updates that we have in the system until you're ready to work. So just want to encourage folks to utilize that.
Can they do that by calling in as well, or is that just like RTE?
They can. Yes, they can absolutely use that by calling in to our CSR. Just provide them that ticket number. And once again, if nothing's changed, the scope of the work, then you can update it from there.
What about single address tickets?
Single address ticket, any of our tickets that you are not going to update, then yes. Any updates? All right, moving on to our damages. Kind of give you guys a snapshot of our damages from June. Just keep in mind these damages are what's reported to CGA as well. We do take our damage information and report to CGA. As you notice here, the top two counties, Mecklenburg, 159, and then Wake, they are at 221. So overall for the month of June, Wake had, you know, a significant number compared to Mecklenburg. But once again, these are only the damages that are reported. If, just as a reminder for you members, we do have what's called Dirt Light. So if you are damaging your own utility, you can go to Dirt Light and report it through there. So we encourage you to utilize that tool as well.
Lois said that the slide did not advance for them.
Okay.
Very low pizza now.
Oh, okay. All right. And so finally, just wanted to kind of remind you all, 811 Day is coming up before you know it. 811 Day is right around the corner. We do have a whole campaign of tools that you can utilize. We have messaging. We have all sorts of educational information there for you guys to share on your website, graphics, so on and so forth. Let us know what you're doing. We will actually be out at Piedmont Natural Gas on 811 Day, and I think we're working, trying to partner with Colonial Pipeline to do some sort of event, maybe up at Discovery Place at Huntersville. So we do have lots of fun things going on for 811 Day, and we'd love to hear what you have as well. With that, there's our team once again. Just want to remind you all that if you are out in the eastern part of the state this week, Howard is on vacation. So feel free to reach out to myself or Tammy or Tyler. We'll be glad to help you. And then next week, Tyler and will be on vacation, and I will be on vacation part of the week. So once again, we have plenty of staff to help you if you have any needs. With that, I will turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you, Ann.
You're welcome.
Moving on to the locate resolution partnerships committee. Dave, you have anything?
Not super anything. There's, meetings coming up on the 26th here. So I encourage everybody to come for, it's hybrid too, isn't it? And join on.
Yes, yes, always hybrid.
I mean, we're looking at the no call damages now. We just started that. And Luz can correct me if I'm wrong there, but we're starting to kind of dive into that a little bit and see, how that correlates. Of course, in the 3-hour stuff and those updates, which I think we are starting to make a slight improvement with some of the heavy hitters with the updates that we met with ULCS and a slight improvement, but still lots of work to do there.
Tammy and I did get the opportunity, along with Dominion, to meet with TEP. That's one of the other contractors, to talk a little bit about the update tickets as well. So if you have a member or, excuse me, a contractor that you'd like for us to take a look at, more than happy to.
That is up to. And
There you are. Good.
those are
Good.
tickets that got.
Yes. Yes.
But there's some new people online. You might want to share the loading. Thank you.
Lewis, I see that. Did you want to say something?
Yeah. I was going to say, while you're pulling up the slide for them, the no-call damages is a big focus right now for CGA, and we'll be talking about CGA in a minute, but we are seeing some success with these letters going out quarterly, and it's that time now for another batch to go out here for the second quarter. It tends to rile people up, but it also tends to get their attention. And especially given the survey that we had done before, we know that a lot of these damages are coming from people who normally call. So they made some kind of conscious decision to not call, and resulted in a damage. So what we're hoping is that even this sort of soft pressure of these letters coming, making sure that people understand that we're aware of it, helps to chip that down a little bit more on that. And then the other thing that CGA is starting to focus on, and we'll be looking at after they finish with no-call damages, is going to be the impact of late locates on the overall process. Sorry, Robert, I'm not throwing it out there other than to say that there will be emphasis on looking at data as far as percentages of, numbers of tickets that are not getting done that hold up an excavator, essentially. So if an excavator had the expectation that they were going to be able to work in 3 full business days, and for whatever reason, whether there was no positive response, or it was cleared when there really shouldn't have been, or any number of things that could have held up the excavator, different codes. And there will be some conversations around that. We're seeing it, it's not, and they're looking at multiple states, okay, across the country, different sizes, different geographic locations, and it's not limited to one area. So just be aware of that as well. And we'll talk about that at the LRPC in more detail.
At this time, if you have not voted, please scan the QR code. That way we can get your vote for the upcoming secretary, please. We'll give them just a minute.
When will the secretary be announced?
We can do that through constant contact possibly.
Yes, we can do that through constant contact, absolutely. And, we can do that as early as tomorrow morning. Steve is actually on vacation today, and, he'll be back in the morning and he'll provide me the full stats.
All right. Moving on through our reports. This time, do we have any state regulators in attendance today? Be it the NC Utilities Commission, or OSHA, or the Department of Labor? Moving on to electric and power companies. Does anyone with the electric or power companies have an update for us?
No major update. I mean, lots of work going on, lots of, reconductors, all the old primary stuff being replaced. I'm sure it's not a surprise with all the tickets and everything. I would say I pulled the damages and I just went ahead and did for the year. We had 1,329 damages this year that we've had to repair. Only 45 of those were due to like a motor vehicle, pole, or something like that. So it's still that 1,284 damages that, we had to send somebody out to repair. And I just wanted to bring that up because of a lot of the update. So if, we suffer these damages, we have to send somebody to repair it. So we're going to pull ULCS off of one job that's not critical, and we're going to bring them in to do this replacement for the damage that occurred. So just something to kind of keep in mind. All these damages we're dealing with, it's impactful down the line as well. So, but other than that, business as usual. Lots of work, lots of work to come.
Any other electric or power companies? An update. Moving on to the CTA, Lewis, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I do. Hey, speaking of business picking up, one of the things that we were, shared with us basically was the breakdown on the dollars for the World Telecom Initiative by state. So this is the amount of money that's going to be released at the end of this year and beginning of next year for these rural telecom initiatives. In North Carolina alone is getting $1.5 billion with a B dollars for this initiative. And again, the timing seems to be situated towards the end of the year, beginning of next year. So that's on top of what we're already experiencing. And that doesn't include other components of the infrastructure bill, such as lead pipe replacement, bridge work, other kinds of work that's going to be also, going on at the same time. So that's something to be aware of. CGA is going to be meeting in a couple of weeks, actually, at the end of this month in Alabama. And if you can go, that's great. If you can't, of course, I'll let you know what's kind of going on there. The main focus of all the committees, whether it's data best practices, OCSI, et cetera, is on no-call damages. That's a third of the damages that CGA reports to DIRT are attributed to no-call damages. And so they'll be looking at different things about what we can do around that. And looking at case studies, especially like the ones that we did, where we were trying to understand more about how that happens, why it happens. Is it awareness? Not so much. You know, it's most of those damages are somebody who knew to call, but they just chose not to. So there'll be a focus on that. And then the DIRT report itself will be coming out. They're shooting for publication by the end of August for the 2022 data. What's interesting to me is I think it was a 10% increase in the damages by transmission ratio from 2022 to 2021. So it's actually an increase in what they're calculating, what they're capturing from people that are submitting the data. And don't forget, CGA is on a mission to try to do their 50 and 5, reducing damages by 50% over the course of 5 years. We were kind of joking about it, but we're sort of hoping they don't use last year as the first year since it jumped up, like it did. But again, you always have to take all this with a grain of salt. All of us are trying to reduce damages in whatever way we can. Whether if you're the locators, you're trying to do what you can to keep pace. You're trying to make sure that it's accurate. If you're the excavators, hopefully you're also taking into account what impact your tickets have on the outside world. And try to measure and meter those to where they're actually matching up to your work. And if you're the one call center, we're trying to get the most accurate tickets out there and get this to go in a smooth fashion. But are we going to reach 50% reduction in 5 years? I mean, it's a noble goal. I'll just say that. But again, you'll see in the DIRT report that comes out that the numbers are so far not going down. And sad to say that all those billions of dollars that are going out to all these states, there's not a penny included in that for the protection of what's there. So there's no locate dollars being associated with that $1.5 billion. So just take that into consideration. And other than that, the CGA is great. They're going to do what they can, and we'll be reporting back on what happens in those meetings at the September state UCC meeting.
Thank you, Louis, for that. Anyone with engineering and design with the report? Anyone with equipment manufacturers with the report? Any excavators or contractors have a report? Anyone with insurance with a report? Any locators or locate companies have a report?
Come on, Robert.
Hey, there we go. I'm talking to you. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, actually. Not much to report other than, what Louis touched on. A lot of grant money out there, right? We've been talking to Brightspeed, a lot of your top 3, 4, 5 telecom, including a lot of the, tier 2, tier 3, as it relates to their buildup that's going on. So we are extremely busy based on what we have, along with what's currently in the hopper. That's really testing our capacity. And that's kind of where we're at from a standpoint of having the excavators to help us to identify and not allow our technician to figure out where you're digging. Very important, right? Very important. Louis said this, Ann said this, Perry said this. All of us on this call have said this. White line, right? And when you do white line, make sure your white line location matches, right? Matches the locate instructions, right? Because what we don't want is to have the white line and then have the locate instruction that counters to what you're white lining, right? So pre-construction meetings are very important. collaboration, as we kind of embark in this venture. We saw the news, and we saw all the money that's being sent out, put out, like Lewis mentioned. And I think it's just going to be what we have right now is the effort. Very important that everybody does their share and make sure that, from a locate side of it, help us not figure out where you're digging, and, make sure your ticket instructions are absolutely spot on, and hold each other accountable. That's it.
Appreciate that, Robert. Anyone else have an update to give from locators to locate companies? Hearing none, we'll move on to gas companies and gas pipeline companies.
I don't have any damage reports, but I have been in communication with our alliance contractor to make sure they're doing their due diligence to keep the update numbers down. I know we do have a huge amount of work out there.
From the Dominion side, just been seeing some real interesting things over the last few months. And as much as I would like to think that we're moving forward on some things, I got into an interesting conversation with one of my locators the other day on the job that the state's getting ready to begin up in Kannapolis. I think it's NRG is the company that called in about 65 locate tickets at one time for a whole project up there. And when my locator had already been up there and had sent quite a few people up there to try to get them done. It looks like they had about a 2.5 month project set up for this thing as far as duration. We called the folks from NRG. NRG says, well, we really didn't know what to do with the tickets, so 811 told me just to call all tickets in again. I knew that was probably not what was said. But then the next answer is the part that got me, and it reminded me of 1989 when I started work here and started as a locator and an inspector. Well, just have your locators to come by and we'll tell you what we need located and what we don't. And that is completely against what we're trying to do here. And I say all that to say there are still a lot of people out there that still have the old school mentality of call in all the tickets and then let the locators come out and clear tickets and let the locate companies get paid for those tickets. And I'm not fighting against the locators and the locating companies. But what happens is by them doing that just throws extra amount of work on those who are trying to do their own locates, like in-house, like we do, or our third parties that are out there busting their chops right now, trying to keep up with 300 or 400 tickets that Google or whoever else may be out there. So the mindset is still out there that call in a lot of tickets and then just call the locator and it'll be okay. And we'll tell you what to locate and what not to locate. So I say all that to we got to stay vigilant and we got to keep attacking. And when I say attacking, that does not a mean thing. But we got to keep trying to communicate with these companies that are continuing the old school way of doing stuff and let them know, please only call in the stuff that you need located. And that takes a little bit of effort. And the problem is in two places. You got to have somebody in the field that's willing to take the time to figure out what you need called in and what you don't. And then the person who's in the office who's typically calling these tickets in have got to be, they've got to have a communication there between those two people. And if one side of that's not working, it's never going to work. So we still have a long hill to go. But I saw that, heard that comment this week, and it brought back memories of, like I said, 1989 when I first started as an inspector locator, and I was doing that, and that's the way things were handled then. And it seems like there's still a lot of people today that think that's still the process. And we've got a lot more educating to do.
Appreciate that, James.
Does, Joel or Robert have anything to say?
Yes,
Joel, Rob, yeah, Joel, go ahead.
thank you, thank you. I have a damage report for the month of June for P&G, and out of 74,987 tickets, there were 160 gas damages for P&G on their facilities. The top three root causes: excavator failed to maintain clearance, locators, and this is not just one locate company, it involves also internal locates. So locators, 46 damages, and no notifications. One Lewis has been helping with, there were 42 damages based on no notification. Those top three root causes totaled 136 damages out of the 160. So those top three were 85% of the damages in the month of June. That's not a good report, but that is the numbers that we have for the month of June. And as far as the quarterly report for Lewis, that'll be coming out no later than the end of next week. We're still finalizing the June data.
Joel,
So
how does that compare to June of last, like year, month over month from this year versus last year?
Unfortunately, Lewis, I don't have that up in front of me at this time. We're not completely done with the final numbers for June, but I was able to get these off of the information we have now. I apologize.
No worries, but this is something that when we talk about damages, we started doing this last spring, I believe. I really want to, at these UCCs, start to trend and show how 1 month damages by county is changing versus this same time last year, kind of like when we look at volumes and transmission volumes. The information that we know that we report through the UCCs, have them side by side. This is 2022 and this is 2023. Are there trends that are happening positively in some counties versus others, that kind of thing? So that's the only reason I was asking you that, is because I'm trying to see the dents that we might be making in some of these things. And if you're right, it's never a good thing to have gas damages, and certainly 85% of them, this is what we see nationwide, all put into three buckets. So, and we'll just have to keep on chipping away, pounding that rock, as they say.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I will, like I said, I will have the no calls list sent to you, hopefully this week, but no later than the end of next week.
Thank you, sir.
All right, appreciate that. Moving on to oil and oil pipeline companies. Moving on to private water. Moving on to public works and municipalities. As far as the city of Kings Mountain, we have a large group of houses coming into our area pretty soon. A lot of developments happening, and I'm sure the majority of that's due to the casino and the promise of what's to come with that. If they ever start to build it. But anyway, there's a lot of talks of things coming to Kings Mountain. So we're excited for the opportunity, but I do see a trend of pickups coming our way in the future. Any other public works or municipalities? Railroads. It was shared to me that we may actually have somebody from a railroad September or November's meeting.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which year are you talking about?
Yeah. Any cable TV or telecommunication companies? Anyone from emergency services?
You know, Matt, just want to make a statement about the telecom, because normally in the past, George Kemp has been at these meetings from Metronet. I just wanted to let folks know he was no longer in our state. He's no longer employed by Metronet. So, you know, unfortunately, he was a person that did show up at a lot of UCCs and, you know, provide information and insight, but he's no longer there. So, just a heads up.
Thank you for that, Louis. Moving on to local UCC reports. Anybody have a report from local UCC?
In Davidson County, there's a lot of housing development up towards the Welcome area. They seem to be putting in a lot of power, replacing a lot of power poles and whatnot. And eventually they're gonna replace it or at the road between Lexington and Welcome, they're gonna widen that road. The state keeps putting it off, so whenever they start that. Pretty much that's about it.
As far as the Foothills UCC, even though I'm not involved in it anymore, I do know that they are planning on meeting at the city of Kings Mountain the first Tuesday of August at 9:30, I do believe. But if you're involved with Foothills, I'm sure you'll get an invite from Tyler to that.
At the Jones Onslow UCC, we're having a lot of issues with service lines and drops being cut and not being reported. Not only to 811, but to the owner. And that's when you get to that point and you got somebody's water and you don't let them know. When they get home, they're pretty upset and they always call the water department. It's our fault, you know. But that's the biggest thing we're fighting against.
The Cabarrus Rowan and Stanley UCC meets this Thursday. We'll be meeting in Salisbury at Piedmont Natural Gas. But as of right now, there's a plan to hold a contractor damage prevention luncheon on August the 10th. That's Thursday. And that will be at the city of Kannapolis. I believe we're going to try to finalize plans on this Thursday. So if you're in the surrounding area or interested in participating, usually have a pretty good turnout at that luncheon.
Everybody wants to free food.
Yeah. And celebrate 811 Day.
Oh, yeah.
The Mecklenburg County UCC, is always the last Wednesday of the month. It will be the 26th this month at 10 a.m. at the Piedmont Natural Gas Learning Center on Yancey Road in Charlotte. And I'd love to have you join us.
We've got a lot of fiber going in. A lot of tickets for that, and they're getting ready to start widening Old Charlotte Highway there, making a 4-lane road. So those tickets probably start coming in before long. We have our meetings on the first Wednesday of the month, 9 o'clock. Right now, it's currently at the Indian Trail Piedmont Natural Gas office. 5601 Candy Drive. Those have got to.
In addition to what Marshall said about the fiber, Open Fiber is the company that has been doing a tremendous amount of fiber work. Open Fiber will also be headed towards Nags Head and Moore County. And I will give them, they've been proactive attending the UCC meetings and trying to be a part of those, and talking to the folks at the UCC meetings. I gave them contacts for Moore and for Nags Head as well. So if you're in those areas, be looking for Open Fiber. I know everybody's excited about that. More locator request. Better fiber. So speaking of the ticket volume, I have asked our liaisons at all of our UCC meetings coming up and moving forward to provide you all at least a top 10 list of all the contractors that are placing the work within your counties. And I did go ahead and just pull a list today. We have a report, what we call our top 200, but I just kind of drill it down just to, I just pulled the top 30. And so just so you'll know, the number one for the month of June, the most amount of tickets went to AT&T Utility Operations with 6,559. So that's a lot of tickets for one entity. RG Communications, I'm not sure if when he said NRG, if he meant RG Communications. They were number 2 at 4,108. National On Demand, they're another contractor, I think, working for Charter. Southeast Connections, 3260. ITS, they do a lot of work too, and I think are they doing work for Dominion too as well? 3164. Utility Lines, obviously for Duke. 3007. Prince Telecom, I think they've been coming to Mecklenburg to Cabarrus, incidentally, for sure. They were doing work for Google. Yeah, for Google. LKN Underground, another Charter contractor, 2651. Piedmont Utility Group, we've spoken with them too, 2060. Diversified Utility, spoken with them, 1715. RH Underground, and Moztec, and then Pike. So those are just kind of a list. And when we have our LRPC meeting, we do review those reports for update tickets. And so we kind of divvy out the numbers to the liaisons, and they look at if they see a ticket that's been updated 28 times, you know, we're immediately looking at those tickets in their area and asking them why. Is there any way you can take that out of the system? Why are you updating? So we're trying to figure out the why as well. So once again, those are consistently being looked at as well from the NC 811 standpoint.
Southeast Connections covers the majority of our territory.
Yes, huge contractor for you all. Yes, for Piedmont Natural Gas.
Dominion as well.
And yes, they're doing work for you guys too, yeah.
The Wake County UCC, we meet the last Tuesday on every month. I wasn't there the last meeting, I was on vacation. I'm trying to put together a contractor breakfast. I'm contacted the North Carolina State University Club. They've got an opening. Right now I'm trying to find out who's going to help sponsor that, because in the past, the contractors or the utility owners just paid the university up. So I'm trying to have it the last Tuesday in October if possible. And we'll meet the last Tuesday of the month at 11 o'clock. And I believe Dominion Energy is buying lunch with its neighbor out of our Apex office.
Last call for any local UCC reports. I hear none. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, September 12th, Piedmont Natural Gas in Wilmington, North Carolina. You'll see Ralph move up to chairman, Lindsay will move up to co-chair, and whoever's elected will be joining the team. So, anyone to be managing for hosting today. And appreciate the lunch that you guys had for us. You guys are in for it. So I'm gonna be good.
Before you adjourn, I don't have a spot on the agenda, so I'm still want to say thanks. Those of y'all that have been around a long time, y'all know what this guy means to the UCC. Right? It's a huge loss. Bad, you're moving on to bigger and greater things, and just want to thank you. He's actually served 2 3-year terms up here. You know, so countless hours he eats, drinks, sleeps, damage for it. And I'll get a little photo kind of want to share with y'all. This photo takes here. Yeah. So I want to read it. Hey, so we want to thank you for your years of commitment to the Damage Prevention.
and the NCUCC. There'll never be another Swaggy Z. Your contributions to this committee are immeasurable. We're eternally grateful for you. We wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. You'll be sorely missed. And you're leaving some shoes that are impossible to fill.
That's exactly right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And you're like a brother to me.
Thank you guys so much. Really enjoy being part of the UCC, local and state. A lot of people in this room need a lot too. Again, just you guys keep carrying on. Appreciate it so much. Thank you.
So I'm going to kind of tag on to the end of that. There's a gentleman here that he's attended at least 50% of all the local UCC meetings on a continual basis. He made a presentation or spoke at a local or state UCC meeting. He's helped in reducing damages in his area. He encourages, participates in pre-construction conferences on large projects within his area, has a company program for safety and damage prevention. The gentleman we're talking about is obviously Chase. Chase has been an integral part of the local and state UCC since 2016. In 2016, he was elected as a secretary of the NCUCC, and he served for 3 years. He took a year off, as Jason said, and he was reelected as secretary again. Not sure what he was thinking, but we are very happy he did. He was reelected again in 2020. And of course, he's currently chairing the state UCC. Very instrumental in helping, you know, with the conference this past year, and which was a huge success. So the person that nominated you is actually Lindsay. Lindsay nominated you, along with many of us. We just used her name. And since I've known Chase, damage prevention has been his #1 priority. He's exemplified this within the natural gas department of the city of Kings Mountain. And by spreading the message through industry conversations and his involvement in the NCUCC. He poses strong leadership skills and fosters an environment for meaningful conversation amongst all parties involved to initiate ideas, welcome concerns, and discuss outcomes to further prevent damages to underground facilities. And of course, you know, obviously Chase has taken on a new position. I would encourage anybody here or online, reach out to his leadership and let them know how important it is to be involved in the local UCCs. I think they've got him going in a different direction, and certainly I understand that, but we want your leadership to know how important it is to take a strong stand for damage prevention. So I would encourage you to reach out to his leadership. And Chase, if you want to give the name.
His name's Wayne Ledbetter.
Wayne Ledbetter.
He wasn't invited to be here today.
But he was not able to.
Just to give y'all a heads up on that, City of Kings Mountain, we have hired 2 full-time locator positions, and they will be responding to the local UCCs coming forward. So,
Well, hopefully there'll be another Chase coming up the ranks. You'll definitely be missed on the NCUCC committee, and I can't think of a better recipient for the Damage Prevention MVP Award. Now, I want to add a special note. We do have Lewis on the call today, but he wanted to also share with you, I have had the honor of knowing and working with Mr. Gibson for the past several years. During that time, I've witnessed his personal passion for damage prevention, his professionalism, and his leadership abilities. Leading the state UCC and working on the executive committee through the pandemic was just one example of his outstanding ability to exhibit flexibility in a time of change and to lead through example with consistency and integrity. I am proud to call Chase a friend and colleague, and in the shared desire to protect North Carolina citizens from underground damages. With that being said, Chase, Lewis, I know you're on the call. Do you want to have a few comments?
I think I'm going to get all weepy here. We love some Chase for sure. And he knows it, and he knows what he's done. And I think hopefully he can feel the impact that he's had, certainly amongst all of us here, what we've done. Can't say enough about it. Wish you the best of luck, brother.
Thank you so much.
Well,
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Chase, if you'll come up, I'd love to present to you the certificate and then also your coin. You're welcome. So just wanted to just kind of go over the coin challenge for all of those that may not be aware. He is going to receive a sticker that will go on your hard hat that says he is a damage prevention most valuable professional. You're just one of few right now. So this is part of that we want to encourage you to utilize there. The coin challenge, receiving a coin is a very huge honor. This is something that we created back last year, and it's only given to individuals that exceed the standard of excavation damage prevention and safety. It's always we ask that you keep the coin as a symbol of honor and a reminder that you are part of an elite group and you're committed to the highest standard of quality. So sometime you may be asked, if you don't have this coin, you have to buy everybody around the drinks. I'll take a nice Diet Dr. Pepper, but we do want to present that to you. On the front, it is, of course, our well-known Safety SAM, Partners in Protecting Everyone, and it's supported by NC811.org, our NCPipesBus.org, and of course, our very own NCUCC.org. So with that, I present this to you. I hope that you enjoy that along with your sticker. You can keep that all together.
Thank you guys so much.
We will so miss you.
Miss you too.
Everybody, I'm going to write his phone number in the bathroom wall, at the post office, and I will share his contact with everybody in case you don't, so you can inundate him and inundate Mr. Ledbetter.
Thank you so much again. It's been a pleasure working with you guys. It seems like the other day, we had all taken Pipes Plus training at the city of Kings Mountain, and I had just started attending the Foothills UCCs. And Ann and Tammy came up and they were talking to us and really wound up meeting both of my bosses at the time. And they said, yeah, we just came up to congratulate Chase. And they were like, oh, he's out in the field. Let me pull him in. Had no clue what I was being congratulated for. And apparently I had been voted in as the secretary for Foothills UCC while I was away in Guatemala. So, it's interesting how things come to be. But through that, I really got involved and at the time was locating full time for the city of Kings Mountain in the gas division and running service, and really kind of took it and ran with it, trying to make Foothills a better place. And through that was recommended to be on the state board, wound up getting involved with the state. And here we are today. But again, for the friendships that I've made for everybody in this room, and you guys all mean a lot to me, and we'll just keep trucking on. But I appreciate everybody and thank you so much. Thank you for the recognition, even though y'all trying to make me cry. It's not going to work. But all right, thank you so much.
So is there anyone that remotely has the attire that Chase has? Because I don't know if anybody can feel your shoes.
Jason's pretty swag.
Maybe a flamingo suit. If not, I know Tammy can hook you up. She got one for her grandson.
Paisley stuff.
Paisley? Oh, it's good. So if you have matching glasses, shoes, if you got swag, then maybe that'll be our.
I'm on the level B swag, yes.
No, not at all. Thank you, Chase, for all your hard work.
Thank you. Thank you to Divinity Energy. Thank you guys. And at this time, we will adjourn. Thank you.
And you want to message you said right there.
I'm going to stop recording really quick. Did everyone online vote before we shut everything down?